Thank you once again, Peter. That was fantastic information. And we're seeing some crossover already between the US and Europe with regards to where brands seem to be positioning themselves moving forward. To take a look from the Middle East now, which is where a lot of us here are positioned, our next presenter has over 21 years in the hospitality and retail industry here in the Middle East, having created Circus Restaurant and Bar and Bamboo Bay Circus in Beirut. He now leads a team of 22 consultants in the hospitality industry. Please welcome the managing partner of Hodema Consulting Services, Naji Morkos.
Good morning, everyone. We are also very happy to be at GRIF for the second edition, as gold sponsor. My task today is a little bit complicated. I need to explain the Middle East in less than 15 minutes. I hope I'll do my best. So first, I'm gonna present a little bit about Hodema, the company. Then we're gonna try to explain this complex market and why it is so complex in terms of F&B, of course. We then going to see the trend flow that is happening in terms of food and beverage to the Middle East. And then we will review a little bit around 10 trends that are booming right now in the Middle East. So Hodema is, like Duncan said, a consulting company. We have created, as a company, more than 40 brands in the Middle East. And we'll see that this is an emerging trend, actually the homegrown brands. Lately in Dubai, we have assisted M. Sharif in the Address Hotel, Lebanese restaurant to open. We also opened a second Margherita, a pizzeria Napolitana, that is very famous in the region, spread all over the region. And another example is just happening now. It's an Emirati concept called Logma that we are right now soft opening in Al Wasl area with Miras. So what we are a consulting company specialized in food and beverage and hotels. We cover the whole Middle East, and we are also specialists in franchise. Last year, actually, I spoke about franchise. So what is Middle East? Middle East is an extreme complex region, like we said, 15 countries, 380 million inhabitants, which is a quite big market. Middle East is not only Dubai. I'm hearing a lot about Dubai always, but you need to understand when you need to describe the Middle East, that Middle East is a much bigger area with war zones, of course, with closed zones, with extremely highly populated areas such as Egypt, Turkey, and some small countries like in the Gulf, Qatar, Kuwait. And the ratios the ratios of restaurants per habitant are there are a lot of discrepancies between all these countries. Okay, the GDP per capita is extremely also different between one another. You can see that, for example, in Yemen, it's only $2,500 versus Qatar, which is over $100,000. Okay. So we tried here to draw a mood board about what is Middle East. Middle East also is very different in terms of nightlife, restaurant, all these trends. This is very difficult to analyze trends in the Middle East. So we tried to do our best. We're going to explain a little bit now about the flow that happens in the Middle East. Actually, Middle East is not a trendsetter. Okay, historically, we have never created F&B trends. So we always imported trends and F&B concepts first from the West, so Europe, United States, and even from Asia. When we are importing trends from Asia, they are passing to the West, being adapted in the West, and then coming back here in the Middle East. We have some exceptions to that. For example, Paparotti, who came directly from Malaysia, or Jamaica Cafe, or some small examples. But as a general trend, you need to understand, and you see that in the next slide, that the balance is really in favor of the imported food and beverage trends. Like I said, the imported brands, the American fast foods, are spread over the region, around 1,900, for example, 900 outlets for McDonald's. The biggest F&B concept, Arabic or Middle Eastern, has no more than 200. So it's still a very emerging trend to create concepts, and this is what we call homegrown concepts. We're going to develop this later on, okay? Usually when we study a market, we draw a curve on, as ODEMA, actually, we don't trust the field, the desk research. We do field research. So even if we go to Iraq, if we go to Turkey, Egypt, and risky zones, we do go on the ground and try to see what is happening on the ground exactly. So we do visit restaurants. We do, like we did yesterday, actually. Can I have water? So we do visit restaurants, and we do analyze the type of food and the segment. Sorry, pardon me. Okay, so we draw a curve on the emerging trends. What's emerging on the trend? What are the top trends in every market? And then for more mature markets, we do the fading trends. So we continue this trend that you see here. We do the fading trends, the dead trends, and then the revival. If we take Dubai, it's a pretty much mature market. And I've been hearing a lot of questions about what is missing as a food trend in Dubai, and nobody's really answering that, because actually nothing is missing in Dubai. You have practically everything here. But if you take it as a bigger scale on the Middle Eastern size, you have a lot still missing. And I thank Aaron and Peter, because all these trends that we saw in the US and Europe will be the next trends we will see in the 3 to 5 years here in the Middle East. Okay, so I'm going to review that in detail. We tried also to separate what is the avant-garde trends. For example, Peruvian food. Yesterday we went to Koya, which is a very trendy place in Dubai, but you need to understand that Peruvian food in the global Middle East is still very avant-garde. It's still something very new for the markets. You couldn't find any Peruvian food in all these markets, and Dubai is the only one that provides that. And also, we have something called the safety bet trends, things that are not trendy anymore. Aaron explained what is a trend. So when you're not trendy anymore, you become a safety bet. So opening, for example, an Italian restaurant for us is becoming a safety bet. And this is why all hotels have their own Italian restaurants. Okay? So in terms of emerging trends, Celebrity Chef is, of course, one of the prominent one, and we'll see that tonight. And we saw that last year with Gagnère and his bakery. We're seeing that also with Yannick Aleno, the French chef that opened Stay. The particularity of Celebrity Chef in the Middle East is that they are trying to adapt to the local market. So they are sometimes creating their own recipes to please the Middle Eastern market. You can see that with an example here. Another trend that is really emerging is the food truck, of course. So food truck is something that we can see all over the Middle East. Meilas in Abu Dhabi, spuds in Lebanon, for example. This trend is coming from the United States, of course, and more and more you have gatherings and dinners, private dinners, with food trucks and this trend. Okay, we think that this trend will continue to expand because of its low rental. Nevertheless, in a lot of countries of the Middle East, you have some legal challenges with regard to food trucks, especially with the heat and the law. I mean, the municipality laws. French cuisine is definitely something that is emerging. So French cuisine, of course, you all know La Petite Maison here, La Serre that opened just after. French cuisine is focusing now on the pastry, the high-end pastry, and this is the vehicle that is spread the most in the Middle East. So we have La Durée, Angelinas, all over the Middle East. Bakeries such as Paul also are spread all over the area. The gastronomy is something that is very, the French, but they are trying to create a casual concept for the French food, which is a kind of bistro, French bistro. And this trend also is emerging in the region. We can see that in Cairo, we can see that in Kuwait, we can see that in Turkey, in Lebanon. Okay, local-based cuisine. This is one of my favorite. This touches the pride of the region here. We as consultant, we are telling these people, why always importing your franchises or importing American brands or European brands? Try to do it yourself. We saw that yesterday in the culinary tour with Asila, for example, which is an Emirati concept. We are witnessing this trend all over the Middle East. So in Saudi Arabia, for example, we have seen a concept called Asil, which is very close to Asila, roots in Arabic. And Asil serves kabse and all the traditional Saudi food on the table. So sorry, I am thirsty. So Asil is typically a chain that wants to become a chain, and they will open soon in Riyadh and other parts of the area. I was talking about Logma earlier. So Logma is focusing on Emirati food, shabab, for example, the traditional breakfast, and they transformed the concept of Emirati food into a casual restaurant, whereby you can eat khamir with sandwiches, westernized, but also traditional Emirati concept. This trend is also present in Kuwait, for example. We have several concepts like Bazda Cafe, which is a traditional Kuwaiti concept. We have also Al-Baythan. Baythan means, it's also a high-end Kuwaiti food restaurant. So this trend we see that this trend is really very promising for the future, focusing on local-based food and cuisine. Another one that we saw in both presentations before, healthy and organic food. The obesity rate in the region, I talk for myself, the obesity rate in the region is very high. So the healthy conscience is growing, and restaurateurs are answering this demand by creating more and more healthy and organic restaurant. Actually, you have some examples of only only healthy and organic restaurants, but usually this trend concerns the items in any restaurant. So any restaurant will have in its menu healthy and organic meals. And this is more about the trend concerns more the items in the menu than really outlets serving only organic and healthy foods. But still, we have some like Taouli in Lebanon that is now growing and coming to Dubai, hopefully coming to even France. It's a project. Okay. Juice bars, like Aaron said, juice bar is on fire. It's on fire also in the Middle East. So drink your salad could be a slogan. We see more and more people drinking only all their meals with juices in offices, in restaurants, and anywhere. This trend is all over the region. We can see brands in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, a lot in Lebanon, in Egypt, even here in Dubai, we have many. Okay, now we're getting to the top trends. So we selected 3 top trends that we see as being really the best 3. So first is the burger joint. Burger joint, what we mean by burger joint here is not only the American-inspired first burger joint that opened, but also it targets all the segment of the market. So it could be a gourmet burger, it could be a low-end burger, it could be any burger. And we have a mushroom. We can witness a mushrooming of burger joints all over the region. I mean, we were in Riyadh with my colleague last week, and he was telling me how many brands are mushrooming. Like more than 20 brands are now opening in Riyadh. So this trend is really the top trend. Burgers we can quote, for example, Slider Station in Kuwait that also expanded and went to Riyadh. We can also talk about Classic Burger Joint, which is a famous Lebanese brand that now is expanding and opening in Dubai, etc. And many other brands in Saudi Arabia, such as 1900. Second top brand would be Lebanese cuisine. There is a big debate between the Lebanese cuisine and the Oriental cuisine. Is it Oriental or Lebanese? Actually, Lebanese managed to market their food all over the world better than any other Middle Eastern country, and we usually identify Oriental food as being Lebanese food, and vice versa. So Lebanese cuisine is spread in the area, and it's still very. We could have put that into the safe bet, but we think that it is still growing and still emerging, and you have a lot of trends coming still to the market, such as Sharif, like I said. Okay, last trend is the coffee shop. Coffee shops were born actually in the area, in Turkey or Egypt, and they went to the West and they came back to us here to the region. We have several types of coffee shops, so we're trying here to talk about all of them. So we have the Westernized coffee shop, Americanized coffee shops such as Starbucks, but also European coffee shops. And lately, we have a trend of local based coffee shops, such as the other trend that I was talking about the food. We are now drinking Saudi coffee in macchiatos and in lattes, and they are trying to mix this beverage trend of the coffee with the local hab al-hal, cardamom, you know. They are trying to create some coffees around that. And of course, one of the major booming trend with the coffee shop, Oriental coffee shop, is the shisha, which is very popular in the whole area. I mean, you could not miss it. I think this is it. I tried to give you, I'll be here if you have any questions, and I tried to explain how complex the Middle East is. Thank you.